Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. How you doing, Frank?
Oh, good morning, Preston.
Good morning to you. You just made the morning.
Yes, exactly.
We were just talking about that a little bit. It's funny because I know when I was waiting tables and doing my art, I used to, when I came home, that was my time to create. So, and drink too. I would be up till like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. Sometimes the sun would come up. But now I've, ever since I got married, I've switched over to being a morning person. So I get up at like 6 a.m. now. I'm sure yours is a little bit because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're working, are you on like a kind of a early schedule?
No, it just really depends on what I need to do.
Right. Well, that kind of leads me into it, I guess. Well, first of all, this is funny, but I've always said your name, Frank Venadas. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
It's Venadas.
Venadas.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I screwed it up. Well, anyway. So we've known each other for how many years now has it been? It's been like
More
at
than
least
5 years.
Yeah, more than 5. Did we meet at La Luz?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think it was a show in downtown. Across the street from the Hive upstairs.
Oh, right. So we did Wisnu Labs.
Yeah, there we go.
But was that a pop-up show for
it was
Brittany Davis?
I think Kendra organized that.
Oh, Kendra. Yeah, okay, perfect. Now we're getting back there. Well, and then we did, I don't know, 2, 3 coaster shows together at the La Luz de Jesus?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, man. Well, okay. So that's actually been a while. I think that's been about 7 years.
Yeah.
Man, I'm feeling old. I don't know about you.
I miss doing the coaster shows.
Oh man, I know. So they stopped doing those, didn't they?
Oh no, actually it's continuing. What do you call it? It's been moved to Pasadena, actually.
Right. Matt opened his, it was Gallery 30 East. Is that what it's called?
30 South.
Gallery 30 South. Whoops. Yeah. Matt, don't hate on me. That's a great gallery. And I know he was the director at La Luz for many years. And so he just continued it over at his new gallery.
Yeah. I love that place.
It's awesome. So did you do the coaster show with him at the new spot?
Yeah, I already did 2. I think 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. My friend, Conrad Haberlin, you probably know him too. He did. I know he did the last one. I'm not sure if he did the one before that, but I just stopped doing I don't know why. I just stopped doing pop surrealism for a while, and I was doing it. I was kind of continuing it on the coasters, but then I don't know. Maybe I'll try to submit this next year. You
never know. I mean, there's so much time on our hands right now.
I know, man. So that's my first question. How have you been holding up with the virus, which will not be named?
Kind of overwhelmed,
Yeah.
some days I feel productive, and some days I just don't want to do anything.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But you've been
So
healthy so
awesome.
far?
Oh yeah, I feel a lot better now. Um, Actually got some time back on, you know, reorganizing my focus and focusing on my health, focusing on my family,
Oh,
and
good.
really just narrowing down what I want to do. And I have the time to do it pretty much. So
Yeah. Well, that's one of the silver linings of this whole thing. I mean, if you can, obviously there are some people who are not even able to survive right now. So,
yeah,
obviously my thoughts go out to them, but for people who have been able to make it or been able to get assistance, it has given us a lot of time to kind of reflect and to focus on some things that we've been maybe putting off a little bit. Right.
yes, definitely.
So you do everything, it seems like. I'm just gonna
Yes.
read this from your Instagram because I think you said it better than I'll say it.
Okay.
So Frank Venadas,
Uh,
aka Headcase Art, he's a fine artist, creative director, graphic designer, musician, singer-songwriter, art and music curator, special events consultant, commercial drone operator, and whatever the hell else you want to do. I added the hell, but
yes.
that's that's quite the
A tall
resume.
order.
So how do you swing all that stuff? Is that how do you fit all that in?
I don't know. I just kind of go with it. I don't try to fight it anymore. I used to fight it.
Oh, you mean like you tried to kind of define yourself as one of
Yeah.
them, or
Yeah, I used to kick myself over it, and I realized, what the hell am I doing? I should just embrace it.
right? Yes, I know that feeling because when I came down here, I was actor, musician, trying to do voiceover stuff, art. I thought I could just come down here. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I was like, I can do all this stuff. And my dad was always like, oh, well, be careful about that. But you know what? Now, more than any other time ever in history, we can kind of do multiple things, right? There's so
Yeah,
many options available to do from home
yeah. There's so
now.
many outlets, and it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. Yeah, but it's also
You have
cool.
to appeal to different demographics.
Yes, for sure. So your art, how would you describe for people who, I mean, obviously we're going to put like links in the show notes and everything, but how would you describe your art to somebody who is not visually looking at it?
I would say it's fun. I would like to, that's one word I always use, and
Yeah.
it is, just kind of tapping into my childhood and, going back and, keeping it fun and, interesting and spontaneous. And,
Right.
most of my images that I create is portraits, faces,
Hmm.
different people I know, people, just random people I meet, and just whatever comes in my head.
Yeah, they're almost like I haven't seen all your work, but I've seen enough of it to get a really good feel for you. It's almost like you've developed your own language of these kind of creatures almost. You know what I mean? I know some of them are based on people too, but they're kind of like fantastical almost creatures.
Yeah, some of them are creatures, and some of them are just normal faces,
Right.
certain face expressions, and it just really depends on my mood. I think that's definitely the driver.
Yeah. You have a lot of stickers that you make with these too, right?
I'm getting to it. Definitely trying to get my merch lined up. It's tough, it's time and money.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But I love your characters you create. They're fun and they're super intricate.
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah, I mean, how much time does it take you to like create one of those? Like, I know that probably varies, but if you were doing an average, how long do you think you spend on each piece or each character?
Okay. Sometimes it's like spontaneous, kind of sketch-like, and that could take like 5 minutes or less, and then when I get into detail, it could take, I'd say, 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and some of these are I know you have that like when we first got on the call, I wish people could see it, but you had this huge backdrop behind you of your work, almost like mural style of all these different characters and stuff. That was really cool. You'll have to send me something so I can post on social media so people can get a feel for what you do.
So I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's great. It puts you into a whole other world,
Definitely.
But how big do you typically work on these things? Because I know the ones that I've seen have been coaster or like almost sticker size, but do you ever work really large?
Yeah, actually, before I got into, heads, I used to paint figurative pieces, and they would go up to like 10 feet high.
Oh, nice.
But they were headless.
Right. Hence the name, right? Head case.
Yeah. And during that time, it was very process driven. And now I'm just going back to, a place where it's fun and spontaneous.
Yeah. I hear you on that, man. For me, it's like I think we kind of have a similar story as far as a transition in art. I mean, I know we don't do exactly the same type of art, but when I started, I was doing really detailed figures and pop surrealist stuff. And, sometimes I would work on that stuff for like 12, 14, 16 hours straight. And now it's kind of shifted to getting more in touch with like the fun side too, and the more kind of spontaneous creative aspect of it. So that's kind of freeing to be able to kick off all those old structures. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I figured, if I'm going to get some recognition, I'd rather be recognized for something that's fun, and I can always change it up and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. And also I think people they respond to that sense of fun. Like they recognize it in the work. People always used to tell me, "Oh, I love your work, but I don't want it in my house."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, thanks, I guess."
I get that reaction too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Even with your newer stuff?
I think you're doing a lot better than me.
No.
Actually, I want to take some time to pick your brain on how you go marketing.
Sure. Hey, if you got any questions, this is a conversation. So if you got any questions here, we can launch into it too.
I don't know where to start on that. It's just overwhelming to me.
Oh my God, man. It is overwhelming. Even when you're doing it and you're doing it well, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, business is just a whole other thing, and it's either I do that and focus on that, or just be creative, and it's really tough to merge the two.
It's so tough. Well, it's actually, I would argue that it's impossible.
But I think you're doing it because you got this 6 a.m. schedule, so I think it's doable.
That's the only way that it's possible, honestly. Yeah. But I guess what I was saying was, what I meant was that like you're kind of going through your day when you're doing it well, you're kind of two different people. It's like you have to put on the business marketing hat. I do that during the morning up till about noon. And then I'll put on the creative hat. And sometimes making that switch is really fucking tough, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I mean by it kind of being impossible to really do well. It's almost like you just have to do it the best that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I find like for me, I'm overwhelmed all the time. I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff and I feel like I'm, in the groove, but it's just like when I'm done, I feel like there's 800 more hours that I could spend on doing everything else. You know what I mean?
Sometimes I wish, the day extends to like 2 days.
Right.
48.
Right. And I think maybe that's why you're up till 6 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Pushing it, burning the candle. But so you're doing okay with the pandemic. Your family is are they in LA? Everybody?
Yeah, everybody's in LA.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody's healthy, thank God.
Oh, nice.
And I'm doing most of the shopping for my parents. I don't want them out there, so and that's definitely a lot of stress.
That's stressful. Well, it's stressful, first of all, just going out, right? And then on top of that, you have to be careful of, your parents. I don't know if they have any sort of health issues or whatnot, but my parents are in Idaho. And if I had to shop for them, I would be freaked out that I was going to pass something to them.
Well, I don't step in their house,
Oh, okay.
I miss the hell out of them. You know,
Oh my
I
God.
want to
Yeah.
give them a hug, but I can't.
Right.
It's just
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you, man. It's nice at least that you get to be able to kind of see them though.
definitely, and it's just I'll go to the backyard and have a chat with them, and they're inside and the door's open, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. As far as the pandemic too, I mean, it's one of those things where they feel like they've done this arbitrary date, right? Like, oh, May 15th, we're all back to business.
Yeah,
And it's like, it's such an arbitrary thing because everybody else is saying, all the experts are saying that this could go, November, December into the next year. Obviously, I hope not. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get like a vaccine, but
I'm tired.
I'm so tired of it too, man. I mean,
I miss my friends.
oh, I know, right? Have you been able to speak with people on Zoom, or how are you communicating right now?
I just I give them a call, old fashioned stuff.
Old school, baby.
People are so into texting. I'm like, screw that. I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
I want to hear your voice. Damn it.
I know. It's the next best thing to seeing somebody in person, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Like texting is good.
I used to have a black book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, growing up,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
and my friends try to get a hold of me, and if they can't, then better luck next time.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's so funny. So you had kind of you almost had like them on a Rolodex.
Yeah. No, I grew up and during the transition from analog to digital, so I
Oh
could
yeah.
do both.
I think we've got to be pretty close in age. I'm not going to call you out here unless you want to do an age drop.
No, we don't have to do that.
Fair enough. I will date myself enough here to give people an idea. Yeah, I remember in high school, at the end of high school, there were a few people that had cell phones, but these were not smartphones. These were like the old school, like they don't do anything but dial a number. You know what I mean?
The Zach Morris cell phone.
The Zach Morris, exactly. Oh my God. That brings me back to the Saved by the Bell phone.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And it was like, oh, who are these people? What is this that they've got? And then I told myself, I'm never getting one of those. I will never have one. And then, I went to college, didn't have one, came down here, and finally I was doing acting and painting, and I was like, okay, I guess if I'm an actor, I have to have a cell phone, because if I get a call or a callback or an audition and they can't reach me, then I'm passed over. But now it's just ubiquitous. You can't get away from them. How do you do with cell phones?
I put it on sleep mode and try to leave it alone.
You mean like most of the day, or just when you're working?
I take little breaks, and sometimes when I'm working on a project, I'll stop and just spontaneously and do something else for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then come back. And when I'm doing that, I usually leave my cell phone next to my computer, so I don't mess with it.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's great.
Some kind of habit, because you gotta make time for yourself and other people.
You do.
Your cell phone just consumes your time, and it's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. My wife is. I'm going to try not to throw her under the bus here too much, but she's what I call an elder millennial, and she's good. She's good, but there are times when you see that kind of cell phone. It's not an addiction. It's just that kind of nervous twitch where you look at the phone, you're always doing something, but it's like the phone's always, it's like ever present in the room. And I found that the more marketing I've gotten into, I've become that way too, because you're like, oh, I got to answer this person. I got to do this. So it kind of piles on the anxiety. So I admire you for doing that.
The anxiety is definitely maxed out.
Yeah, for sure. Teach me your ways, Frank, how I can do this.
Well, you just have to clear your head and just say, fuck it.
Right.
And, there's a time for everything. And, if you're always just like waiting for an answer, it's definitely going to consume you.
Yeah, and it's also ultimately unfulfilling, right?
Yeah.
Because even when you get it, or you get the like, or you get the follow, blah blah blah, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, and
So
you're waiting for somebody to get back to you, and you're like, oh, I could have done this while I was
right.
waiting. So allow yourself to do that.
That's what my wife always tells me. I'm one of these people who has to respond right away, because I value people's time. But she's just like, you know what? Just they can wait. It's not that important. Just get back to them when you're done with this. And then I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
it's all energy. We're all connected, and it's the law of attraction as well. You know, if I'm not giving you attention, then you're going to give me attention.
right.
Ridiculous.
That's so true, man. That goes over with everything. I'm sure you've witnessed that in your work, in art, in jobs, like dating. Whenever I've been like, okay, I'm taking some space, then it comes to me. It's so true. So I wanted to get into your origin story. I don't know if you've listened to too many of the podcast episodes, but I always talk about artists kind of being like superheroes. So do you have a little origin story you can share with people? How did you get into the art world? How did you get into being a creative person?
I've always been creative growing up. Started art school early point in my life. When I was in fourth grade, started taking art classes in the art conservatory in Cal State LA.
Uh-huh.
All the way to high school, and then got into college and did some of that and dropped out and opened the gallery.
Nice.
It's just.
Can I pause you for a second? What gallery did you open?
The Here Gallery.
Nice. I feel like I should be aware of this. I've seen you write about it, talk about it, but what was the gallery about? What kind of work did you show?
Well, it's a DIY gallery. Originally I just wanted to move out from my parents' place and have a studio to do my art, and one thing led to another. I had a gallery, and it's just, I don't know, it just happened.
Wow.
I went with the flow and tried my best to manage it. Had other people come in and help out, and it just grew into something special, and ventured off to like different avenues of it, and it's just so much to talk about. I feel like I need to make a documentary or something. I don't know.
Oh, you should, man. Do you have any old footage or pictures from that era?
Oh yeah, there's tons of them. I'll send you a link sometime and
Oh,
check it out.
cool. Yeah, you should. I mean, with all your talents, you should definitely turn that into a documentary.
I actually had a conversation with my friend last night about it, and just really thinking about it. It's definitely going to be a positive thing that might happen. I don't know. We'll see.
Cool, man. Well, if you do it, would you do like an online release, or would you have like a screening party or something?
I'm not sure yet. I'm at this point where I'm just trying to get different opinions, and
I'm already at the place that it's done. I'm like, where can I see it? Well, let me know if you do it.
I have to get so many people involved in order to get it done. So
yeah, I know you're friends with Nathan Cartwright, aren't you?
oh yeah, we go way back before the Hive Gallery.
Nice.
Nathan was curating at the Hangar 1018.
Yeah.
And I think I curated one show, but for the most part, I was exhibiting in most of the shows that he organized. And we became good friends. And then he opened the Hive, and I opened the Here Gallery the same year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually built some of the walls in the Hive.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they still up, existing, or have they been changed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, I love to build, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I built 4 bedrooms in my old spot, and I built a stage, a DJ booth, a bar, hush hush.
Hush hush. Nice. A speakeasy.
Oh yeah, it was pretty much a speakeasy.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
See, look at all these underlying talents.
DIY before the social media.
Yeah, right. I love the Hive, by the way. I never had been to the Here Gallery. So was it kind of in the same district?
It was in Echo Park.
Oh, okay.
You ever been to the Bootleg Theater?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was 2 doors down from it, and it was upstairs, and you would not know it existed unless somebody told you about it.
Oh, cool. So it is like a speakeasy.
Oh yeah, just on the
Speakeasy
weekend.
gallery.
Just on the weekends, but the weekdays, I live there, and 3 other people live there, and had band rehearsals on the actual stage, and did whatever. Had a great time.
That sounds like living the dream right there. Was it one of those things where it was more affordable at that time to rent a space, or like how did you swing that?
I got the space for $2,000 a
Oh,
month,
okay.
3,000 square feet.
Wow.
That's unheard of.
How much would that be nowadays?
Shoot, like 10 and up.
Oh my God. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Oh man. Well, that's cool that you had that opportunity. So you had that gallery open for how many years?
About 3 years, and
Okay.
then we shut it down, and I took the name, built a good brand, and took it to the warehouse district and did a bunch of pop-ups for a good 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved the operations to a couple of locations, couple of venues around town, and developed this circuit for bands, DJs, and artists, and circulated them all over town in the different locations. And yeah, it was a machine.
Wow. That's intense. That's all. I mean, in a good way. That's a lot of. That seems like a lot of work.
Definitely ate up all my time.
Yeah.
Consumed my time to a point where my creativity was in the back burners, and I didn't have any time to paint or write music.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So, were you able to kind of use that as an avenue for your band as well?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, nice. I think I might have interrupted you on the origin story. If you had more for that, keep going. Otherwise, I wanted to ask you about music.
Okay. Well, after the Here Gallery, I ventured off to a film festival in Louisiana.
Oh, nice.
The Louisiana International Film Festival, LIF for short. And
Yes, Liv.
started off as a graphic designer, and got promoted to creative director, and did that for 5 years.
Oh, wow. So you worked with the Louisiana International Film Festival.
Yeah.
So did you move, or could you do that remotely?
I did it remotely over a year,
Oh,
and 4 months out of the year, I would be stuck in my house like right now.
right.
And so I'm kind of accustomed to this scenario. And
Yeah.
right after that, they'd fly me over, and be there. I'll be in Louisiana for like 2 weeks, hanging out and just enjoying time.
Oh, cool. Okay. So your origin story has many different levels and different stages, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like you kind of just were a creative person from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you born in the United States? Sorry, go ahead.
Like whatever you do in life, it builds up to something, You
Yes.
just have to stick with your guns, Don't doubt it. Just embrace it.
That's so true. And even I'm going to ask you about this too, but even when you're doing that and you kind of feel like there's a failure or something, it always ends up leading you to something else. Like it's never wasted.
Failing is a good thing.
Failing is a good thing. I completely agree. I would almost even argue that looking back, nothing is a failure, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
cool.
want to learn as much as you can, and that's the only way.
I don't understand.
Oh, Alexa's talking to me. Stop.
That reminds me, I got to turn off my ringer.
I don't know what she heard, but she was like, I think I'm going to chime in on the podcast. Special appearance by Alexa, everybody. I think I just, okay. Anyway, Now I lost my train of thought. This damn technology. No, but we were talking about failure and how nothing's really a failure and how it always leads to something. And you were saying it's all kind of a learning process.
Definitely is. You just have to roll with it and see what happens. Because if you choose not to do anything, nothing gets done.
That is true.
Plain and simple.
Yep. I think just kind of action, and I don't mean this in a action, massive action type way, but just moving forward, having momentum is good. It leads you down the path. Whereas if you're just stagnant and you're, shut off in your room and wondering and dreaming about doing art someday, it's never going to get started.
You got to walk the talk, man.
That's right.
That's what I say.
Definitely. Well, you've been doing that in many different ways, which leads me to kind of ask you about your music, your bands. Like, how many bands have you been in at this point?
I started my first band in 6th grade with my little brother, and
6th grade. That's awesome.
My mom got me a drum set at 6th grade, and growing up in Highland Park in the 80s and 90s, it was Gangsterville, and it kept me away from all that. And I thank my mom every day.
That's so cool. So you had a cool mom. She got you a drum set.
Oh yeah, she didn't want me out there, messing with gangs.
Oh, that's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah, so
shout out to mom. That's awesome.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, my parents, they put up with all my shenanigans.
Yeah, that's their job, putting up with shenanigans. So 6th grade was your first band. You're playing drums. I'm imagining did you have like a basement? Did you have a shed? Where are you playing drums?
A storage shed, and it wasn't soundproofed. So everything was amplified out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did your neighbors hate you?
Yes. And one of them came and reported us to the police. And then my mom was like, you guys got to take it in the house.
Yes.
So I was like, all right. And, we had a schedule, and it was after school for like 2-3 hours, and that was it. 3 to 6 was rehearsal time.
Okay.
And then we could do our homework and then go to sleep.
Nice. I'm sure that was like a great escape for you. I mean, like for me, basketball was that for me. Basketball and drawing, and then my friend and I, we made movies. Like my best friend Ryan O'Malley and I, as kids, we made movies. Like honestly, I feel like I discovered all these little tricks even before they were doing them in film, just by playing all the time, and it just days just flew by. So I completely relate to that, man.
Yeah, just the feeling of discovery is amazing.
It is,
especially when you don't know the process and you just discover it yourself, and you're like, "Whoa, I could do that."
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then it's like, well, what else can I do? Yeah, right.
That's exactly how I feel with music. When I write, I don't read notes. I just go with my feelings, and this sounds right. It must be right.
Yeah.
And I just kind of approach it the way I approach drawing, and it's really tough because like I'm kind of conflicted with both of them. I can't just pick one of them.
Well, maybe you don't need to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm at this point now. Okay, well, I just have to pick my time with each one, and I find that when I'm kind of like at a good place where I'm on point with everything, I tend to be more on the art side, and when I'm kind of unstable and things are not going too well, then I go towards my music, because that in itself is healing.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I think recognizing which mediums to use at certain times could be beneficial.
Yeah, it's almost like you're self-medicating in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. It can be the most cathartic thing. I was just talking to somebody today on social media who's a writer and an artist, and she discovered that I had done some writing and she read like the opening pages of like my semi-autobiographical book that I'd written. And I was like, she said, "Oh, you can feel the pain in this and how it opens." And I said, "Yeah, honestly, the book saved my life. Like I was at a place where I was struggling, I was feeling ill, and I was just kind of wandering the streets of LA in between work and painting. And I kind of felt like I didn't really have a place to go at the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this first sentence came into my mind and I was like, oh, and I got excited for the first time in I don't know how many months. So I rushed back home and I just started writing. It just was pouring out of me. And dude, it saved my life, honestly.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, but I think you're right on. I mean, nothing allows you to kind of get out that angst and the screaming inside like music, right?
Yes, that's why it's very important to have these outlets available for kids.
Yeah,
That's gonna save their life.
it will.
In so many different ways.
It's so true. And of course, not to be political because this is not really a political podcast, but it seems to be one of the first things that's always cut, right? And with funding. Exactly. Yeah. Our society's backwards in that way.
Yeah. No, I got a bone to pick with all that, but that's a different interview.
I'll have you on my sub podcast, Politics Now. No. No, hell no. I'm never doing that. I don't want to do a political podcast. I would want to shoot myself.
I don't want to unleash the beast.
Yeah, right. No, honestly, how are you dealing with that aspect of it right now? For me, my wife and I, we just try to get the news that we can, then we just get out. Do you find yourself being consumed by bad news right now, or are you balancing it pretty well?
I don't even watch the news.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because all they have to say is it's all negative.
Right. Wait a minute. Well, Frank, are you aware there's a pandemic right now?
Yeah, there is. Don't get me wrong. I watch a little bit of it, but
yeah.
I don't go looking for it.
Yes.
Sometimes before I crash out, I get a little notification on Facebook and there's something about, the situation. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on now?
Sure.
And I'll set a time limit for like 5-10 minutes and then I'll shut it off because you have to do that.
That's perfect. I think it's like they've set it up almost not unlike social media. The news feeds on your engagement, right?
Yeah, and this rabbit hole, and it's never ending.
Yeah, exactly. And then they give you all this kind of clickbait and these scary, titles that makes you want to pay attention, and then they keep feeding the beast, and pretty soon you're in this like anxiety-ridden state. No, it's horrible. Like I take everything very seriously, but
minutes, you begin to realize, it's repeating.
Yeah,
you just said that fucking 20 minutes ago.
Right, but we had somebody else say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's the answer? Give me the fucking answer so I can go to sleep.
Yeah, give me the answer, or give me a different angle at least where you're looking at this from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Not just fear. So I cut you off. I think we started talking about something else, but you had just finished up talking about your 6th grade band. Continue on with the whole musical journey because I'm interested.
Oh yeah, when we got into junior high, we got really serious with it, and formed this band, death metal band, actually.
Oh wow!
The popular thing in the early '90s, the golden age of death metal, and
yeah,
we formed this band called Noxious, and
nice.
The Roxy, the Whiskey, Variety Arts Theater in downtown, the Anti Club, this punk rock venue in Melrose. It's shut down now, but amazing place. Just in junior high and high school, we did all kinds of shows that we weren't allowed to be in, but we did it because we play music.
Oh, you mean because of the venue? Because of like the liquor license?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
And it's such an amazing experience, and all your friends want to be your roadie, so it was amazing.
Yeah, and then when they get older, they don't. No, but that's cool. So you were able to use them and use that as momentum. Well, man, you got to play all the cool spots.
Yeah, back then when it was cool.
Right. Wait, back then when it was cool or when you were cool?
when it was cool.
Okay. You're like, I'm still cool, motherfucker.
Yeah, those spots are just like, I don't know. They want to exploit the entertainment. It's not fair.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be kind of a very common thread with a lot of different genres of the entertainment industry, right?
That's exactly why when I had the Ear Gallery and I worked with the bands, I always made sure that there was always that line that I drew, because I never wanted anybody to feel that feeling of being exploited.
Yes. Were you doing like primarily, sorry to go back, but were you doing primarily group shows and stuff?
Tons of group shows, and I love to curate bands, especially, and it's just one of my favorite things that just happened naturally, and definitely created a good circuit for bands. I'd say 2008 to 2013. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
good band circuit. Local bands from out of town come in, and I would book them in different locations. And you get an awesome experience, and just coming to LA.
Cool. So you did that for about 5 years, and then you've had a couple other band iterations, right? You have a current band, yes?
Yeah, it's called Frank and the Mammoths.
Frank and the Mammoths?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
For that, I had the Nightbirds, and that was during Here Gallery days, and
Hmm.
ran that for as long as we could, and we got up to the studio, and the studio makes or breaks you, so it broke us.
Oh no.
The process is just daunting, so we never got the album done, and now we have a second chance at it, and slightly different lineup, but pretty awesome. And we're working up to that recording, and hopefully do some shows once this is all over.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we did our band did 2 studio sessions when I was there, and
I didn't know you were in a band.
oh yeah, I was the lead singer, and I learned how to play guitar and I played trumpet for a while with this punk ska band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and yeah, so I was a singer for that for about 4 years, and
Yeah.
we released a couple albums. Nothing big, but we did a couple things. We played the Warped Tour a couple of years.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. We got to play the Gorge, and we went through Boise, which is kind of where my family was living at the time in Idaho. And we played basically like a couple legs of the Warped Tour, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing, man. Something
Yeah.
that some what's good.
Spotify?
I don't know if they are. We had a falling out before I left, but they continued on. They probably are. They're no longer a band, but it's called 10 Minutes Down. Like
Okay.
the Andy Warhol thing, 15 minutes of fame, 10 minutes down. Yeah.
Wow.
But the studio was crazy. I mean, it's long hours. You get sick of each other. Sometimes people don't pull their weight. Sometimes that's me. Sometimes that's somebody else. And yeah, it's expensive. I don't know if you were doing like old school studio stuff or were you guys kind of doing your own thing?
A little bit of both. Time is money, so
Yes.
we did some of just tracking in the studio, and whatever we need. Better mics. We definitely rented out the studio, and,
Uh-huh.
and it's a whole process, but everybody's time added into it. It's just it's a mess.
Getting everybody coordinated. How many people were in the band?
Originally, it was 5 and the Nightbirds, and managing 5 people, it's hard.
Yes.
I think if we had a manager, I think that would have been better.
Yeah, you need kind of somebody to be there, kind of taking that weight off of somebody, because otherwise somebody from the band takes that place, and then that fosters some resentment, I think.
Well, yeah, I was definitely managing it.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough position to be in.
And I was already managing the events.
Right. Oh man, so you were playing in the band, writing the songs, managing, putting together everything. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you get along with everybody in the band?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay, good.
they're my brothers.
Oh, really?
You know,
Wait.
you know, to me they're my brothers.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But the reason why I was saying it, because you had your first band in sixth grade was you and your brother, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, my two other brothers during that time had their own band.
Ah, okay. So you got a musical family.
Yeah, it's a musical family, definitely.
That's so cool. So now you're basically you're kind of getting ready to do another attempt at the studio, and then hopefully play some gigs after that.
It's not death metal. It's it's independent.
Okay. Is there somebody? I can't believe I haven't heard any of your music. Is it? How would you categorize it? Like, what does it sound like? Anything?
Um, you take the Pixies,
Oh, love the Pixies.
you mix it up with maybe the Smiths, the
Oh
Doors,
shit.
and the Kinks.
All right. So why haven't I listened? I love all three of those bands. One of them's named after me. Come on, the Smiths. Hello. I love Morrissey. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm also a big Echo and the Bunnymen fan, and
Oh, nice.
so
So you've got some great influences then.
I think so.
Well, those four alone right there are, I mean, maybe they weren't your influences. Maybe you just sound like them, but either way, it sounds good. So would you say like vocally, cause you do lead vocals, don't you?
Yeah,
What would you say you sound like?
um, definitely. Well, I could do lows and highs, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Is there somebody you've been kind of compared to?
I got compared to so many different singers that I don't know. I don't know at this point.
You're like Pavarotti. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so like, but the Pixies, the Smiths, you mentioned them. Would you say you have kind of a similar uh, vocal kind of feel as Morrissey or somebody like that?
Slightly, kind of like the Doors a little bit.
Oh, nice. Another favorite. Cool, man. Well, I have to check out some of your music. Let me know when you guys do a gig sometime. I'm very busy, but I would love to make something at some point.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. So, well, did you want to say anything else about on the musical end, or should we shift gears?
We can shift gears.
Okay. So I always ask people, artists, I call it your secret weapon for creativity, kind of going along with the superhero theme or your superpower. What is something that kind of helps you get focused and to be able to create well? Like if you're in one of those moods where you're not feeling creative, is there some trick or something that you do to help you get creative, or do you just kind of go with that?
It's just it's just the battle of wills. I think that goes a long way. You really want it that bad, you gotta stand by it. And I know we get sidetracked, but ultimately, if you try to do at least one thing a day that pertains to your goal, I think you're good.
Almost like stacking up little things like, oh, this, because we talked about a lot of things leading to other stuff. So
Yeah.
even if just maybe let's say you're not feeling it that day, so you just go, okay, I'm going to set out a canvas or whatever. I'm going to set out some materials and I'm going to just start doodling. Maybe you had it in mind that you were going to, paint a large painting or something,
Yeah.
but just getting that kind of in motion sets you up to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about the process. It's a preparation.
Right.
Well, you just have to project it, and you have to be ready for it. Because opportunity comes in left and right, and if you're not ready, then it's not going to happen.
That's true. So yeah, because we've talked about this on a lot of the interviews so far. I think a common theme is that if you're just waiting for inspiration all the time, then
Yeah.
you're never gonna create, or you're never gonna have like an artistic practice. You kind of have to, like you're saying, it's about all the wills. You have to will it to be, at least to get started. Like I find that if you get started, then the kind of the muse or the creative inspiration kind of follows.
Yeah, you have your artilleries lined up. Your sketchbook, your recordings, whatever medium you want to use, you have it ready, and and when that inspiration comes, you're ready for it, and it just happens, naturally.
Yes, I completely agree. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit earlier. Maybe you feel like we answered it already, but do you have a failure or like a biggest failure, something something that was perceived as a failure at the time, and what did you learn from it?
That's a tough question because
Yeah, take your time.
I'm always failing, and
Well, we all are, aren't we?
um, I don't know. Like, I really don't want to say much about it because I've learned to let go of so many things that just I can't really allow my mind to explore it right now.
Oh no, that honestly, that is, I haven't had that answer yet, and that's kind of almost the best answer you could give. It's like reprogramming yourself not to see something as a failure. You
Yeah,
know, um, for me, I don't think like that anymore either. It's kind of interesting that I have that as a question because I don't see anything in my life as a failure either.
yeah,
I think also if you're looking at stuff or you're looking for failures, you're kind of bringing more of that into your life. That's a good answer. I like it. What about advice to young Frank? This is Frank. This is pre sixth grade band Frank. Okay. What would you say to your younger self now with all the knowledge that you've accumulated over the years, all the different arts related stuff you've done? What would you say to young Frank as far as pursuing art? Or it doesn't even have to be about like art itself, but kind of navigating yourself in the creative realm.
well, what I would say is never be afraid to fail.
Yes.
That's one. Um, you know, if you believe in what you want bad enough, it'll happen. It's just natural. And never let anybody tell you that you can't do what you want.
Yes.
You have to discover it for yourself. You don't want to live life with regrets. So you have to try, even if you fail.
I agree with that.
And if you're going to be creative, I recommend definitely taking some business courses. That was the advice my dad gave me during high school. But during that time, I was pretty rebellious. So I was like, screw you, Dad. But later on, I realized he was right.
Yeah.
He was right.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. I'm better off now where I'm at because, I learned and I failed and learned. And being a creative, you have to be creative with business as well, because otherwise you're going to starve.
So true.
So just keep that mindset, and if opportunities come, try it.
Yeah.
The only regret I've had was I was given an opportunity to work in an animation studio in high school,
Oh, cool.
but I turned it down because I was just so hell bent about music and like doing whatever I wanted that I wasn't really thinking about being an animator. I just
Hmm.
felt like it was a big can of worms that I had to open, and it was going to consume me, and I didn't want that.
Yeah. That's interesting because, well, first of all, there's a lot that you said there that I completely agree with. I wanted to touch on a couple of them. First of all, the business aspect of it. That's great advice because I also didn't have any of that. And one of my biggest, not regrets, because it wasn't really my fault, but one of the things that I wish had happened was when I went to school and I kind of double majored in theater and fine arts, and I
Yeah,
was never taught anything about the business side of art or business in general. And when I came down here, obviously it makes sense that I took 10 years just creating art and like expecting it to just be seen by somebody.
well,
And yeah,
this
but
doesn't want you to be an artist.
yeah, exactly. The world's like, we have enough of that.
Yeah, they need you to build something.
Right. Yeah. So having that kind of that knowledge, oh my God. I mean, I've seen other people, even people that I've interviewed who haven't been doing this quite as long, but they actually did that first. And it was a springboard for them to get so much further ahead. I mean, I'm still happy. Like, it goes back to what we were talking about, regrets. I'm still happy that I created a huge body of work, because now I have that to fall back on, and I still sell those pieces from 12, 13, 14 years ago. But it would have been nice, to have a little bit more of a business sense. And then what was the other one I wanted to touch on? I'm forgetting.
That's all I have.
Oh, no, you gave me so many. I was trying to remember one of the other things you said. Animation project. Yeah. Sometimes I think that, like, you have this idea in your head of how it's going to manifest, right? Like, I want to be this. And if you're too strict in that vision, you cut off other opportunities that could almost kind of lead you there in a roundabout way, right?
Yeah, actually, when I got out of high school, I wanted to transfer to the art center and get into transportation design.
Huh.
I was into designing cars, and that was definitely going to be a really serious avenue if I wanted to take it. And
yeah.
I just, like, in the end of it, I was like, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
That, and almost,
I don't know. Sometimes I stop myself, and I wonder sometimes maybe I should have done it.
Right. But do you think that, I'm sure a couple of those times you did that, it was probably for the best. And then maybe the animation thing could have, it seems like that could have been something, because your characters that you design and create I kind of see them almost as animated characters. Does that sound weird?
That's actually the next step in the evolution of my work. And
oh, cool.
I'm actually already, messing around with some of the characters with my friend who's an animator.
Nice. That's perfect. I see that too, man. I think that's the next obvious evolution too. That kind of takes my next, I guess, well, it answered part of it. My next question was, what are you working on now? So that's one of the things you're working on now?
Mm-hmm. Yes. For right now, I'm at home working remotely for my friend's startup, and pretty much reviewing label for intelligence on videos. If that makes any sense.
What? Like artificial intelligence?
Yes, pretty much. Working for my friend's company, startup company, and I'm reviewing and labeling images off time-lapse video.
Okay.
Construction sites like LAX, Caltech, just different sites, and we're just labeling objects and people, so that way the AI of tomorrow will recognize, okay, that's a human, don't kill it.
Right. That's important.
Yeah. And so I'm doing that part-time, and then I'm like also venturing.
Have you been able to continue that right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But it's not enough to make ends meet. So
right.
Definitely glad that I got my unemployment.
Yeah, I did something along those lines because I'm a sole proprietor, but I think the whole system is very confused.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Especially for independent contractors.
Independent contractors, yep, sole proprietors, artists, all that. It's so funny. I told my wife this. It's like sometimes the people who need the most. Like, I'm not saying I'm very fortunate. I'm still selling work right now. I'm very happy. But in general, sometimes the people who need it most are the artists and creative types, and our government doesn't really see that as a legitimate job, even if you've been making steady income. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, that's a sidetrack. Please continue. You were talking about your side gig, and then what else?
And I'm also working on the animation thing I mentioned, but it's still in the beginning stages. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to approach the animation, and I'm already doing a bunch of storyboard ideas, and definitely trying to get back into my music, trying to pick up my guitar here and there, and
yeah,
songs I've left unfinished. And yeah, I'm so like itching to go to the rehearsal space and just like jam out with my bandmates.
Yeah. I
It's,
mean, I miss that, and I haven't done it in like over a decade. I can't imagine how you're feeling.
it's it sucks.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, this thing, the pandemic has hit all creative people pretty hard, but I would almost argue that it's hit musicians the hardest
Yeah.
because you can't, I mean, you have to get to, I mean, you can write, you can paint, you can do a lot of creative endeavors from home. It's a kind of a solitary exercise, but music is not.
Well, for musicians, what I recommend is do a little web concert.
Yeah.
Like play all your music.
Yeah. And some people have been doing that, right? Like I know even Radiohead did something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Do it.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, then you kind of have to risk getting together with people, right?
Well, uh, there's ways to do it. You just have to, be cautious.
Sure.
Shoot, my drummer's living in the studio right now, and from what he tells me, people are still going to the studio rehearsing.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Well, it's hard. I mean, you people who do that for a living, you got to keep working. Otherwise, it's almost like death from another angle, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. I think I have one last question for you here. Just kind of following up on or continuing along this path. Where do you see yourself and your work in 5 years?
In 5 years, hopefully be a creative director in my friend's startup
Hmm.
and exhibit some bigger shows in different galleries and get some recordings done.
Yes.
We, get the animation thing going, maybe some side murals, and definitely get all my merch lined up so I could be in Comic Con. And
Yeah. Sorry, you cut out on the last part. Comic Con and then what?
Minecon.
Yes. Man, I can see all of that for you. It seems like you're kind of putting all that in motion already.
It's a tall order, but that's what has to be done.
Yeah. Well, and it's also the natural progression of what you're doing, right? If you kind of see it through all the way. I can see it happening. I want to see like first of all, I want to hear what your band's doing. I want to see the animation project, and I want some damn stickers, man.
Yeah, definitely. You got to send me your address.
I will. I will. After we're done with this, I'll send it to you, and I will post some stuff when I get it on social media because I want people to see it. It's awesome. Cool. Now we're kind of wrapping up, but I just wanted to ask you: is there anything else that you feel like you want to leave people with right now, or do you feel pretty good about where we are?
Definitely hang in there.
Yes.
It's a time for reflection. So, just look back on all your achievements and, whatever you need and, just to inspire you. And don't forget that, this is only temporary and we're going to get back into it and we're going to go hard on whatever we want, and just be ready for it.
Yes. And I think we might be even more focused coming out of this, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all so starved for it. We're like, okay, now I'm going to jump back into it like full throttle.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome, man. No, thank you so much for that. And where can people see your work on the interwebs, on the internets, and on social media?
Oh, you can go to Instagram at Headcase Art. I have the link posted for my band on the paragraph. So
Okay. On Instagram?
yeah, but there's no music yet, so it's just a little page to be present and until
A
we
teaser.
but it's coming.
Okay, cool. Do you have a website or anywhere else where people can see you?
Oh yeah, headcaseart.com.
Headcaseart.com, the same as your social media.
It's kind of under construction, but it'll do for now. I definitely have to get the merch going, like in the site because
Yes.
I'm bad at that. So I definitely want to have a conversation with you about that later.
Oh yeah, man, hit me up anytime. We can talk about that. Are you using like your own? Do you have somebody who built your website, or are you using like Squarespace or something like that?
I think it was GoDaddy. I just did
Okay.
that your own web type of deal.
Yeah.
I want to get like maybe big cartel, like hooked up to it or something, so I can sell my merch.
Like an e-commerce.
Yeah, it's something. I got to figure out the avenues of to sell my work. But
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about it. I'm around. We got time. So yeah, hit me up. And that's definitely something that it would be cool even to talk about for people too, because I know a lot of people are struggling with that, but maybe we can have the conversation privately and I can kind of put some of it into another podcast.
Man, you're ahead of the game.
Thanks, man. No, you know what? It's funny. It came out of, it wasn't necessity, but it felt like necessity to me. I got so tired of banging my head up against the wall and waiting for like gallery shows and stuff like that. And then when I get in them, I would be like so excited. And then, maybe you sell a piece here and there, but it was just like not sustainable. So I just kind of got so tired of it. I was like, I'm going to cut out the middleman here and I'm going to start selling my work. And the
infomercial or something.
Welcome to the PMS Artwork infomercial.
Or $39.99. I can give you my secret.
Hey, maybe you could put that together for me. There we go. That would be funny, man. But the irony about the whole thing is like once I started doing that well, I felt like it took some of the pressure off the galleries too. And then both of them started flowing much easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, well, we'll get you going on that. But hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I look forward to getting this out so people can check out more of your work.
Sounds good, man.
Awesome. Well, if we want to at some point, let's do a round 2.
I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. Well, it was good talking to you, man. It's been too long.
All right. Good talking to you too, man. Stay safe and, get some shit done.
For sure. You too, man. All right. Talk soon.
Yeah.
All right. Later. This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.